Most people think wealth shines loud and bright. They think success means glittering cars, sparkling jewelry, and expensive vacations. They believe applause equals achievement. But the truth, real power hides, real wealth whispers. The richest people you'll ever meet rarely look rich at all. They move quietly. They work in the shadows. They don't chase attention, they control it. Why? Because visibility is vulnerability. The moment the world sees your success, it starts plotting ways to take it. Attention isn't protection, it's exposure. Look around. The loudest people online bragging about income and luxury often lose everything in a few years. They show off. They draw envy. They attract pressure and redditors. Meanwhile, the silent builders stay invisible until they're untouchable. By the time the spotlight finds them, the game is already over. They didn't ask for validation. They built leverage. This isn't about hiding out of fear. It's about building in silence, winning in silence, and only revealing when you cannot be challenged. In this series, you'll learn the code of invisible wealth, the psychology of power through privacy. You'll see why the quiet win big, while the loud burn out. If you truly want freedom, not applause, if you want control, not claps, then stay with me. The rules you're about to learn separate the audience from the architects. Welcome to the mindset of the unseen elite, where silence is strategy and privacy is profit. Now let's begin. Most people chase success like it's a spotlight they need to step under. They think the world must see them winning for the win to count. But the quiet few know a different truth. Power grows fastest in the dark. Progress accelerates when no one is watching. Silence isn't absence, it's advantage. When you build quietly, no one can interrupt you. No one can compete with a plan they can't see. No one can sabotage what they don't know exists. Some people brag about every move they make. They post every small victory. They need applause like oxygen. Meanwhile, the silent ones are stacking skills, stacking assets, stacking leverage. They don't rush to show progress. They wait until progress becomes undeniable. Noise feeds ego. Silence feeds strategy. And strategy beats ego every single time. Think of any great strategist in history. They never broadcasted their plans. They moved in patience and precision, not performance. A quiet man walking with intent is more dangerous than a loud one, announcing every step. Because the loud one reveals direction, the quiet one controls it. Every moment spent showing off is a moment not spent building. Every post for validation steals attention from creation. Attention without results is vanity. People underestimate the invisible. They overlook the silent. And that's exactly why the silent rise. They appear average. They appear ordinary. Until suddenly they don't. Hidden progress feels slow. But hidden progress compounds faster than public progress. Because hidden progress is uninterrupted progress. Stay private while you're learning. Stay humble while you're building. Stay unseen until staying unseen is impossible. You don't need to prove you're working. You need to make sure no one can stop you while you work. The world rewards those who hold their power close, not the ones who give it away for attention. Silence is not weakness. Silence is preparation. And preparation beats applause every single time. Next, we go deeper. Most people try to make money by serving everyone. They try to be available to all. They try to be liked, chosen, accepted. But real power doesn't come from pleasing crowds. It comes from controlling something others cannot live without. Dependency is leverage. When people need you, they cannot ignore you. When they rely on you, they cannot replace you. When you become essential, money and influence flow naturally. Look at every empire across time. Kings controlled land and food. Banks controlled money and credit. Tech platforms control attention and communication. They do not fight for income. They own the system the income flows through. That is the quiet foundation of power. The masses are taught to earn. The elite are taught to control. Control beats effort every single time. You don't have to own everything. You only need to own the doorway others must pass through. Gatekeepers always win. Think of a landlord. He doesn't need to work daily. He simply owns what others require. Think of software creators. They build once. Others depend forever. This isn't greed, it's structure. Power rests in being necessary, not visible. Authority grows when people cannot function without what you provide. Even at a small scale, this works. You can be the one who always delivers trust, speed, or insight. You can build a service so reliable someone's life or business depends on it. When you become the irreplaceable solution, you stop chasing clients. They come to you. They stay with you. They pay you again and again. Never seek to be liked. Seek to be depended on. Loyalty follows necessity. Quiet wealth means others move around your value. They depend on your system. You don't chase, you anchor. The world doesn't reward the busiest worker. It rewards the one who controls the resource the workers need. Dependency is invisible power. Build systems people lean on. Own the supply instead of begging for demand. When others rely on you, you win by default. Next, we refine the strategy. Most people believe hard work is the path to wealth. They sweat, grind, hustle, and sacrifice time hoping effort will save them. But effort alone doesn't build empires. Leverage does. A man swinging a hammer all day works harder than the one owning the construction company. Yet the owner earns more while lifting nothing. Why? Because leverage multiplies results without multiplying effort. Labor is linear. Leverage is exponential. And exponential always wins. The world trains you to work harder. The wealthy train themselves to work smarter, then remove themselves entirely. Not by laziness, by design. Leverage is when one action produces endless returns. It could be a system, a platform, a piece of content, a rental property, software, capital, a team. The poor trade time for money. The wealthy trade systems for freedom. Time is limited. Systems scale. Think about miners digging for gold. Then remember the person selling the shovels. He didn't need to dig. He controlled what the diggers needed. Shovel sellers get rich once. Mine owners get rich forever. Or consider landlords. They don't show up every morning to earn rent. The system earns while they sleep. That's leverage. Or a digital creator who builds once and earns repeatedly. That's leverage. Or a coder who writes a tool once and thousands use it daily. That's leverage. Leverage is not about avoiding effort. It's about investing effort into machines that never rest. Work once, earn forever. People trapped in effort burn out. People trained in leverage break out. The quiet wealthy focus on architecture, not activity. They build pipelines, not buckets. Buckets feed today. Pipelines feed generations. To shift into power, ask yourself, how can I create something that keeps working when I stop? What system can outwork me? What tool can replace hours with automation? Every hour spent building leverage saves thousands later. Every hour spent grinding without leverage keeps you stuck. Leverage frees you. Leverage protects you. Leverage makes you unreachable by those still trading effort for survival. Next, we advance the blueprint. Power doesn't just come from doing more. It comes from replacing weakness with systems that cannot be broken. This is the silent strategy most never see. Substitution. Substitution means removing old habits, old structures, and old dependencies, and replacing them with stronger ones that serve you. It's not about force, it's about replacement. Amazon didn't fight bookstores, it replaced them. Digital streaming didn't argue with DVDs, it made them irrelevant. Innovation isn't noise, it's quiet replacement. You don't outmuscle the world, you outvalve it. You substitute obsolete with superior. This principle applies to your business, to your wealth, to your psychology, to your habits. Every time you feel the urge to brag about progress, substitute silence. Silent progress compounds faster than loud ambition. Noise feeds distraction. Focus feeds power. Every time you feel jealousy, substitute inspiration. Jealousy drains energy. Inspiration creates momentum. Every time you want instant results, substitute consistent effort. Short-term reaction builds ego. Long-term strategy builds empires. Most people never escape the cycle because they don't replace their system. They just try harder inside the wrong one. They run faster inside a cage, believing effort equals freedom. But running harder never breaks the bars. Structure does. Substitution is the key. Replace habits that drain you with structures that build you. Replace reactive choices with strategic planning. Replace time dependence with automation. Replace chasing customers with building systems they rely on. Even in your mind, substitution matters. Replace emotion with analysis. Replace panic with patience. Replace ego with purpose. That's how long-term thinkers win. They upgrade the foundation, not the speed. They don't fight the old, they quietly build something better until the old becomes irrelevant. The world doesn't remember those who shouted the loudest. It remembers those who silently shifted the ground beneath everyone's feet. Substitution isn't flashy, it's subtle. but subtle is exactly why it works. Next, we learn the fuel behind all silent empires. Most people hate waiting. They want wealth today, applause today, results today. But impatience is the enemy of power. The quiet rich knows something the loud world ignores. Patience is not weakness, patience is a weapon. It separates the ones who react from the ones who rise. Anyone can hustle for a moment. Only builders think in years. And those who think in years dominate those who think in minutes. A seed does not become a tree overnight. A fortress isn't built in a week. True power needs time to deepen its roots. Impatient people look busy. Patient people look calm. But the calm builders are the ones designing the future. Silence plus time equals inevitability. The crowd celebrates instant wins. The quiet elite build permanent ones. They do not need immediate validation. They need unstoppable momentum. Think of investors who panic during market drops. They sell, they fear, they crumble. But those who stay patient, they accumulate, they expand. They win by letting time amplify their strategy. Patience protects you from emotional sabotage. Patience keeps you invisible while you build strength. Patience allows your leverage machines to grow unstoppable. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. The patient remain steady and quietly take everything that quitters leave behind. Patience is not waiting passively. Patience is working consistently while time compounds your advantage. Slow is smooth. Smooth becomes unstoppable. When you don't rush, you don't break. When you don't show your hunger, no one can starve you. When you don't reveal your timeline, no one can sabotage it. The impatient expose their weakness. The patient conceal their rise. You don't need to move fast. You need to move strategically, and strategy always beats speed. One day they will call you lucky, but luck is just patience compounded. Next, we master the final stage of silent wealth. Most people either stay hidden forever or show up too soon. Both extremes destroy momentum. The quiet rich know a rare secret. Visibility is a tool, not a lifestyle. You appear only when exposure multiplies your power, never before. This is the art of strategic visibility. You don't enter the spotlight to be seen. You enter to solidify dominance. Think like a king in chess. You do not move early. You move only when the board is secured and your position is untouchable. The average person announces their goals. They broadcast their hustle. They reveal every plan. And in doing so, they hand their advantage to the world. The silent elite reveal nothing until the outcome is locked in. They show results, not effort. Finished power, not fragile beginnings. Look at the most successful entrepreneurs. You didn't hear about them while they were grinding. You heard about them once they could not fail. Bezos didn't seek the spotlight while Amazon was fragile. Musk didn't broadcast before his companies were fortified. The reveal happened only after the win was inevitable. Mystery creates strength. Certainty commands respect. Revealed too early, you invite attack. Revealed too late, you lose opportunity. So you calculate, you choose the moment when your foundation is unshakable. Then, and only then, you step forward, not to impress, but to influence. You don't show up to brag. You show up to shift markets, set standards, control narrative. Visibility becomes a weapon, not for validation, but for leverage. Until then, you remain silent, patient, focused, invisible, but always advancing. Because the world cannot fight a shadow, and it cannot stop a force it didn't see coming. When you finally appear, you don't ask for space. You take it, not loudly, but definitively. That is the final rule of hidden wealth. You don't chase the spotlight. You turn it on only when it amplifies what you've already built. You've learned the core principles of invisible wealth. Build in silence, create dependency, use leverage, replace weakness with systems. Let patience compound your power. Reveal only when unstoppable. This is how quiet people become, impossible to ignore. This is how real empires are built, not with noise, but with strategy. If you found value in this breakdown, support the channel, like, comment, and subscribe to Psychology Insights, because here, we don't chase attention, we study power, we study discipline, we study the psychology of winning, quietly, strategically, permanently. Thank you for watching, and remember, you don't need to be seen to become someone. You only need to become someone until being seen is unavoidable.